Hey guys, this is Tommy Lanham with The Climb, empowering you to climb to your God-given potential. A few years ago I was in Gatlinburg and I saw a sign on a t-shirt that said, "It is against my relationship to have a religion." And I thought, man, that captures it right there. Many of you know that I am a person of faith, but I do not consider myself a very religious person because my faith is based on a relationship with a man named Jesus. And I believe that is the ultimate relationship. As we are getting ready to move out of February, which is the relationship month, we've talked a lot about relationships this month. We've done blogs, we've had conversations. Hopefully you've bought some nice things for your spouse or your loved one. But the ultimate relationship is our relationship with Jesus. And within that relationship, we need to realize three things. First of all, He accepts you. I want you to understand that. Jesus accepts you just the way you are. He loves you just the way you are. You don't have to clean yourself up. You don't have to get rid of all the trash, all the garbage, all the crap in your life in order to allow Jesus to accept you. He accepts you just the way you are. Even if you're not ready to accept Him, He accepts you. He loves you just the way you are. But if you're going to have a relationship with Him, you got to take this next step. He accepts you. Secondly, you must accept Him. You must accept Jesus for who He is, who He said He is. Don't try to make Him a version of you. Jesus is not Democrat or Republican. He's not conservative or liberal. He's not even American, as much as some people try to convince us that He is. He's radically different than all of those little boxes that we have in our lives and in our society. You have to accept Jesus for who He is. I heard somebody say several years ago that in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth and everything that is in it. And on the sixth day He created people. And people have been trying to return the favor ever since. We try to recreate God in our image instead of just accepting Him for who He is. Jesus accepts you. You must accept Him. And thirdly, realize your life will never be the same. It will radically change for the better once you come in that relationship with Jesus. Because here's what I've come to understand. Jesus loves us too much to leave us the way we are. He loves you just the way you are. But He loves you too much to leave you there. Relationships help us get from where we are to where we want to be. And that is not any more true in any relationship than it is in our relationship with Jesus. Jesus paid the ultimate sacrifice because He loves you so much. And that's why that is the ultimate relationship. Chuck Colson, who used to do prison ministry before he passed away a few years ago, tells the story of a prison in Brazil that he went to. And the unique thing with this prison is that several years ago it was purchased by two brothers who were very devoted Christians, very devoted followers of Jesus. And they decided they were going to run this prison on Christian principles. Well, when Chuck Colson got to the prison, he noticed that everyone there was smiling. In all the prisons he'd ever visited, he had never seen that before. He said it was especially true about the murderer who held the keys to the front gate and opened them up to let him in, and then gave him the tour of the prison. He noticed that the prison, in the walls, they were decorated with Bible verses. And the unique thing in this prison is that every inmate is given an accountability partner who is another inmate to help hold them accountable for their character and for their actions. Each inmate is also assigned a family in that community who visits them and works with them not only while they're in prison, but after they get out of prison. Now, the unique thing about this prison in Brazil is that normally about 75% of prisoners who are released from prison end up going back. That number is 4% at this particular prison. And Chuck Colson just couldn't believe that. He said, how can that be? How can this be so effective and so successful? And again, the murderer inmate that was giving Chuck Colson the tour says, well, the answer is out in the punishment cell where torture used to happen. And he said there's only one inmate that's in that cell now. And he took Chuck Colson out to that punishment cell. He opened the door, he peeked in. He looked back at Chuck Colson and he says, are you sure you want to go in here? Chuck Colson says, I've seen punishment cells all over the world. Sure, I want to go in there. Chuck Colson stepped in the door and he looked over to the right, and there he saw it. Up on the wall. It had been hand carved by the inmates in that prison. It was Jesus hanging on a cross. And that inmate looked at Chuck Colson and he says, he's the only one that pays the punishment for us now. You know, Jesus once said in the Gospel of John, greater love has no one than this, that he lay down his life for his friends. And that's exactly what Jesus did. That's why our relationship with him is the most radical, the most important, the most awesome, and the ultimate relationship we could ever have. Because he accepts you. And if you accept him, your life will be forever changed. God bless you.